All right, everyone, thank you for being here tonight. As a reminder, if you can just list your first name and your camp organization so we know who's here. And we'd love to see those smiling faces. So if you want to turn your camera on, please go ahead and do so. And I think this is going to be a little free flowing. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we'd be happy to address them as they come in. We are almost to the end of our webinar sessions here. Next week, we have Dr. Rafi and Dr. Dubé for coming back for their third and final COVID-19 update. And then we have one more mystery webinar from our friends at the Sunrise Day Camp Association that is coming shortly. And then we're going to take a break for the summer. So then without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Cindy and Leah, who are going to tell us a little bit more about Kids Kicking Cancer and how we can all add therapeutic martial arts to our summer and year-round programs. So ladies, take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. Hi, everybody. I'm Cindy Cohen. I am our Global Program Director for Kids Kicking Cancer and our Hero Circle program. And we were just talking about this before we came on. My background is child life. So I come to the organization having run a child life program for many years in a hospital-based organization, and then came into the nonprofit world working with Kids Kicking Cancer. Leah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey all, I am Leah Schellhatz. I am our program coordinator in Chicago. I also am heading up all of our camp outreach and scheduling and all the camp stuff this year. My background is martial arts, but as well as working with kids and just in a variety of aspects.
Great. Well, I'm going to start, and I see some faces here that I recognize. So it's good to see you guys that are here today. So just real briefly, who we are, what we do. We were founded as Kids Kicking Cancer back in 1999. I am based in Metro Detroit. Leah's based outside of Indiana. We were founded in Metro Detroit, and it was founded 10 children at Children's Hospital of Michigan, utilizing therapeutic martial arts and non-contact ways to connect with kids using the mind body. And it was kind of a pilot to see how it would go. And it went really well. And we've since grown. We are now working with kids in 27 states and 8 countries. So we've really grown across the globe in the last 20 plus years that we've been around. Everything we do, as I mentioned, is safe, is non-contact, and really meant for populations of kids that are dealing with illness. Our kids range in age from 3 to 18. They really learn a lot about pain and stress management for pediatric, how to have coping tools for pain and stress management, creating resilience for themselves and then for their siblings, because siblings are a part of all programs that we do as well. We're free for the kids and families that participate. We work in hospitals, we work in community settings. Once COVID hit, we made everything go virtual. So we're keeping virtual. So we can do our programs online with our kids and families. Our martial artists are trained to really reach kids and connect with kids online as well as face-to-face. And we're little by little starting to go back into hospitals in person. And we do groups and we do one-on-one sessions for kids as well. So those are some of the things that we do. And as I said, all ages, siblings, teens, parents. We have a dedicated AYA program we've started in the last year for adolescent young adults. We have parent programs that we work with as well. So really looking at families as a whole and working with them. And not that it's new for us to be working with camps, because we've worked with camps for years, but our camp connections have really grown since COVID, because we were able to reach out virtually to so many places that we did not have staff. I mentioned Leah's outside of Indiana. As I say, we work with kids in 27 states, but that's because of the virtual aspect. We have staff on the ground in Michigan, the Chicagoland area, Milwaukee, New York, Chicago, Boston. We will be having staff in Savannah. We've had staff in California, and we have staff in multiple areas of Canada, Israel, Italy, South Africa, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. So in those places, our in-person camp programs have been able to flourish. We've even worked with camps in person in South Africa, So not it, and in Israel and such. So not just in the US, Canada also has a lot of camps that they work with. But when COVID hit, it really allowed us the ability to work with camps where it didn't matter where we were. And so because of that, that's when our camp population and our camp programming really grew in the last 2 summers. And now with that mix this year of going back in person and also doing the virtual, that's where Leah's stepping in and really taking that on to figure out where we can work with all these. So benefits of therapeutic martial arts, it can be taught in person or virtually. You don't need a lot of equipment. It can be inside, it can be outside, just comfortable clothing. It's all non-contact, so it's safe. All in a camp atmosphere, we rely on you guys to tell us limitations, but in hospitals and in community class, in hospitals, we rely on the hospital staff. In the community, though, we rely on the doctors give sign off, so they give permission for kids. So many activities and sports related activities where kids are not able to participate, contact sports and things that they're told once they have cancer, they can't participate, they can with us. And it's sanctioned by medical personnel. And most of our referrals come from medical personnel. So that's a really positive as far as the therapeutic martial arts. And it's empowering. So the kids are able to take control over things that are happening to them or around them. And the techniques that they learn, they can take them anywhere and use them anywhere. So they might learn them in camp, or they might learn them in the hospital, they might learn them in a community class, but they can use them anywhere that they're needing to. So if they're getting pokes, or if they're stressed out about something with school, or if something at home is stressing them, or if they have a procedure coming up. So they're really across the board techniques that can help make things less scary and less stressful. And we're year round. So as I'm moving my table here, we refer to camps all the time, but our programs are year round, and we work with kids in a lot of different ways. And Leah's going to talk about that. So there's the non-contact martial arts, there's gentle movement, there's breathing techniques and relaxation techniques, and really what grows is that supportive community of peers that are facing similar life challenges. One kind of a cool thing is siblings and their kids can join together, especially in the virtual realm, when it gives them opportunities for them to join into classes together. And everything's adaptable. So I mentioned briefly, as far as if there's someone who is in a wheelchair, not a problem. Our martial artists adapt that. If somebody has balance issues, or they can't jump, or everything is adaptable. If there's an amputation, whatever it is, everything we do is adaptable. And our martial artists are able to make everyone be successful in whatever that class environment is. And it's fun. And they really are learning real life skills that they're able to use. And then finally, it's evidence-based. We've done research and we've shown the effects, both even as we've had testimonial research, we have pain score research, but then we also have functional MRI research that shows that after taking 4 of our sessions, different centers in the brain show reductions in areas of stressful areas in the brain that show that increased resilience and the decreased areas of trauma and such in the brain. So those are some of the ways that we are able to, your kids are able to benefit from the therapeutic martial arts. Lee, do you want to talk about why our martial arts is different than, let's say, a traditional martial arts school that is often contacted for camps?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the main things is the training that our martial artists go through. A lot of martial arts, I told you my background is in martial arts. I still teach at my martial arts school that I've been in for many years. But it's very different because they're focused more on, the sparring and the contact part of things, which as a martial artist, I love that part of things. But that is not appropriate for the population that we work with. And so our martial artists go through very extensive training, whether it is our curriculum that we have put together. They have many hours of online teaching and training and quizzes and tests that they go through before they're even put before kids. And then they'll go through an apprenticeship program The classes that they learn, that they take online, they cover our martial arts techniques. We say it's our kind of our own form of martial arts. It's a lot of the same moves that you would teach, but it's light blocks and punching and some kicks, depending on the limitations of the kids in the class. It kind of just depends. And then our martial arts therapists are really taught more of the psychosocial aspect of the kids that they're working with, and those different needs that they have, and how to work with their families as the kids are going through the cancer or the illness. We do work with, I don't remember if Cindy touched on this or not. We do work with kids of all pediatric illnesses. We started as kids kicking cancer, and we do have expanded. So whatever they're going through, our martial arts therapists get training in a lot of that, so that they're ready to work with those kids on their level and prepared for that. They go through their hospital training if they're going to be in hospitals, and taught the hospital culture and boundaries and confidentiality part of things, because we are working with kids of our population that we all work with on this call. We're trained in teaching in the virtual world. Like that is a whole new aspect of training that has come up, which everybody I'm sure is experiencing that, and how to train, and the tips and tricks of Zoom, as we still figure it out even after this long. But from there, our martial artists go into an apprenticeship program, where they just observe, and they might help with a few things, whether virtually or in person, a few techniques. And then after those classes, then they'll get to help and assist in classes before they're actually put on their own to teach a class. So it's a lot of training, but we want to make sure that martial artists are ready for that before, because of all of our martial arts. I should have started with this. All of our martial arts are black belt trained martial arts. So they're coming from traditional martial arts schools, but we don't want to put them directly with, our kids of our population. So we make sure that they're ready for it before they're set free.
That is something that we have been told has been both by the hospital staffs and then different camps that we've worked with, to know that we're coming in with all the training, and to know that we understand the population, our martial artists understand the populations of kids that they're working with the different illnesses. That's made a big difference as far as connecting and partnering, and the trust that is formed with working with kids and families. So, when we do partner with camps, Leah, do you want to talk about the different ways that we have worked with the camps?
Yeah, and so far we have worked, well, like Cindy said, before COVID, we were doing in person, where we would come in, and generally camps have done it many different ways, where we'll present a full session to the entire camp, which now is not usually possible because nobody is getting their entire camp together in one place. So we work in many different ways, whether it is a rotation, or I think we're working with one camp this summer where they'll give a demonstration during lunch, and then also teach a class to the kids that want to join it later. We're working with one camp in Ohio where the instructors are going to be virtual, but all of their kids are going to be in person during the camp. So they'll have us on a screen, and they'll have, all of the counselors there with them to make sure everything is, everyone is being safe, but we'll take them through all of, a full class just virtually. And then we'll do our virtual classes. And that, like Cindy said earlier, that has really grown since COVID has started, and we've been able to expand that offering considerably since then. We also offer year-round classes or sessions. whether that be through camps or on our own. We have worked with camps where camps will send kids to us throughout the year just as a referral. But we've also got a couple of organizations that we work with year round where we will do like 6-week sessions. And so they'll just send it out to their, any of the kids in their program and say, hey, we're partnering with Kids Kicking Cancer Hero Circle for the 6 weeks and come join classes. So that's another offering we have. We are probably going to be working with a couple other camps to do a quarterly class or something like that, where it's just, that's the one of the nice things of this virtual world now is that we can keep in contact with the camps year round and be able to offer these classes regardless of location. Another one, let's see, another way we do partner with camps, let me get my superpower kit. I'm going to show it off. Is that a good time for it, Cindy?
Yeah, great. While Leah's getting the superpower kit, one thing I want to add is we can, and I see Athena on the screen, so she'll understand this. If you have certain sessions, like we will commit to you when you need us. If you say, okay, we need you we work to decide what day and time and such. But if we tell you we're coming Mondays from 10 to 11, we're coming Mondays from 10 to 11. There's no question. Like we will confirm, if we ever confirm a day and a time with you, we will get that we will have a martial artist that will work with you. There won't be last minute cancellations. There won't be things like that. We are able to make that commitment. We have a pool of martial artists really from around the country that are able to, especially in the virtual world, but in person, it would be tied to that location. So just to kind of add that in there as well.
All right, this is one of my favorite things is our superpower kit. We send these out to camps. Our kids get them. It is, Cindy, it's through a grant, correct?
It is through a grant. So we are able to send these. Oh, good. You got yours in the mail.
I'm glad.
Wonderful. Yeah. And here, I will put the link in here for you if any else would like to order them.
These superpower kits are great. They come in this little box that you can open. They come with, where is it? I was messing with it earlier. It comes with a stress ball. I was using it earlier. A stress ball with our logo on it. But then it's got, the main thing in it is this superpower book. I love this coloring book. It's a full activity book, but it really reinforces what we teach in our classes with some really fun illustrations, but then it talks about all of it, all of what we talk about. And I'm gonna teach you all in a few minutes or a little bit later our breath break. And so this is what I love that this teaches it. It talks about breathing in the light and blowing out the darkness. And there's pages in here where the kids can draw their darkness. They can draw their light. It talks about different words, different emotions that they connect to the darkness and the light. So it's a really good one for kids that have not been in our program. It goes through pretty much everything that we talk about in class. However, it is also an excellent reinforcement to what we do teach in the classes. Then they can go back and color the pictures and the characters in these, they'll be able to relate to them because they've got, it's very diverse pictures and diverse characters, but it goes from all of it, teaches the body scan, and they're just fun. I could talk about this for a long time because I love this book. But also the superpower kit's got, fun little stickers that just remind the kids that they are powerful, that they can use their power to fight their challenges. It comes with a giant poster talking about I have martial arts superpowers. Just all kinds of fun stuff. It's got a certificate that they have martial arts superpowers. So this is, yes, I love using the martial arts superpower kit. It's one of my favorite things. I will cut myself off there because I could just keep going on about it. But yeah, those are probably the main ways that we have worked with camps so far.
Family camps,
Yes.
weekends and such will be called both in person and also virtually to do work with family camps throughout the year as well.
We're also constantly working with camps to figure out what works best for all of you. So things change, especially right now that we don't know what's going to happen with, whether you're going to be in person still. So we're flexible and we work with that, and we love that we have the ability to be flexible, and just, if you say, hey, we can't do in person, but we can, try this, then we're probably game for it. We do what we can. As we work with our camps, the few things that we do ask of camps is, one, we have a simple online registration form. Sometimes the camps we work with will put that into their own registration so that we have, the sign off that the parents approve that they're doing these things in just a simple waiver. But we also have our own registration form that we can work into that. We work different ways with different camps on whether it's included in theirs or we send out our own. Our main thing for, of course, the waiver is the one, and then the other one is we do ask for limitations, just so that we have an idea of who will be teaching, of what limitations they might have, of whether, like Cindy said, they can't jump because they've got a brain tumor, or they're in a wheelchair, or they're joining class from their hospital room. That is, that happens often, and so we just like to have an idea, so that, because we never want any of our kids to feel like they can't join like everybody else and can't participate just like everybody else. So we always have the accommodations. If kids are tired after treatment and some need to sit and some need to stand, then one of the martial artists will sit while the other stands, and we just make sure that they're all included. The other one ask that we have is a question on the limitation.
Yeah, I can answer that one.
Perfect. Okay. And then where was I? Oh, evaluations. We do have evaluation forms. That's another ask that we have for the camps that we work with, really most any classes that we work with. They're simple, they're super short, but as you all know, we are a nonprofit, as you all experience, and the more data we have coming in from parents and campers and students, the easier it is to get funding. I say easy, but so we have evaluations that goes out to staff. It can go out to parents and it can go out to campers. They're, like I said, they're super short, super simple, but we do ask that we can send those out. And then we just ask that you share our program information with your campers, because we do have a year-long program. And again, our program is, there's never cost to any of our kids. So that's, we've got all kinds of our flyers and information.
I'm going to touch just real briefly on health, vaccines, that kind of thing, since that's such that's a big topic these days related to camp. So I can tell you our policies, what we do, and then for any of our martial artists that are working face-to-face with kids, we require full vaccination. So the 2 vaccinations plus a booster. So that is a requirement of any of our staff working with kids. And then we follow your individual camp's policies as well. If you require masks, our martial artists will mask if it's in person. Honestly, sometimes our martial artists will mask anyways, even still. They're just sometimes extra cautious as far as, again, same as populations of kids that you guys are with. But if it's in person, and if you guys require a negative test prior to coming to camp, our martial artists will do that as well. So we go based on the rules of whatever the camps are, but just as far as so that you all know that those are our requirements for our martial artists to be coming into camp. And then if the negative test is required a certain amount of hours ahead of time, again, they will do that. We have a camp coming up in June that we're doing, and it's an interesting one. It's a family camp that we are going to train the staff. And this is one here in Michigan, and we have a relationship that we've done with them for years, that we go up to camp during their staff training. Our kids, it's actually our staff and our families, a few families. We have 10 families max that go up there, and then they do a training for the staff. And then in return, our kids are able to participate in camp for like a equivalent of a weekend, and it helps the staff in their staff training. It gives our kids a little bit of time of a family camp. And then we have the training. When I say we train, our kids train staff, they teach the breathing and relaxation techniques that they learn and what they're doing to overcome the challenges that they're using to go through their overcoming the challenges, their illness. They're teaching those to staff at camp. And it's kind of cool because we've had year after year relationships. So the kids will talk about how maybe they use their power breathing to go through an MRI, or they have to get a poke, and this is why it helps them. Parents will be able to give feedback, but then the staff at the camp were able to say, can anyone who's been here before tell our campers how you've used what they've taught you? And so then they'll come back and they'll tell the kids, oh my gosh, you guys, you taught me the breathing techniques and I used it all summer long at camp, but then I had to go back to college and I used it at college and I had really, I was stressed out for tests and I could use it. Or someone in my family got sick and I was able to use it and teach them because I was able to help them. So a lot of that, the whole idea of the hero circle and the kids learning and the kids also teaching. So, but one of my reasons for telling you that is their requirements are everybody be vaccinated and that everybody has a negative PCR test within 24 hours of coming to camp. So that's what our families are doing in order to come to camp. So just to let you know that one also. And then something else I want to touch on, which inevitably does come up, are costs. We certainly, what we provide does cost us money to be able to send our staff and such, or be teaching at camps. However, we also know that all the camps are in the same boats we are, that you guys are all nonprofits as well. Some have budgets, some don't have budgets. So our goal and our mission is really to reach out to as many kids and families that we're able to reach out to throughout the year that we're able to, and teach the interventions. We do have scholarships. We always love to get grants because then it's easier for us to go to camps and be able to offer our services. There are, very honestly, there are camps that are able to cover our costs that we have, and so they will cover the cost. There are also camps that will have scholarship forms, and they will fill out the scholarship forms and they'll say, okay, this is what we have in our budget that we could support. And because we have some grants to be able to cover it, we're able to do that as well. So we're very flexible on this. We're not going to say no. We're going to try to find a way to make it work. But, it's just that it's the conversations we have with our business people in the office all the time. It's that, no, we're here to do this and this is what we have to do. But Cindy, we have to pay bills too. Yes, no, I know that. I know we have to pay bills too. So that kind of a thing. But we do have scholarships available, and those have been helpful as far as camps. The camps have told us that it's been helpful for them to be able to, at least know that this is still something that we're able to provide and we're able to do. So if there's any questions about that, we always talk about that. We can talk about it in group. We can talk about it separately, offline, all of those things. So Leah, do you want to talk about components of a class, what we do?
Yes, our class starts with a bow. I'll teach it now. I was going to teach it anyway, so I might as well teach it now. I'm going to teach you a bow and you can all join me and do it with me. So we tell our kids, we stand at attention and we put one fist in front of you, and you can stand or sit at attention, whatever works for you. One fist in front, and we say power. And power is because you are very powerful and you are a powerful martial artist and you have power. We cover that power with our other hand and say peace. And we say peace because you are so powerful that you can be peaceful and you can calm yourself down and share your piece with the world. And then we bow and say purpose. And purpose, all the kids at Kids Kicking Cancer, the Hero Circle, know that their purpose is to teach the world. And that is the phrase that they have. Like Cindy was saying earlier, about the kids going to this family camp and teaching the staff, and how the kids teach the staff, and then the staff is able to teach other kids. Like, that is what we talk about. Like, one kid might not be able to teach the entire world, but by them teaching somebody, and it just keeps growing. And so we tell them, and we find that giving them that external purpose is often very helpful to them as they're going through their cancer treatments. You know, we talk about teach your nurses, teach your doctors. Do you think they ever get stressed or scared about anything? And so that gives them, in their moment of pain or anxiety, it gives them a different thing to focus on. Oh, I can do my power breathing and show my doctor how to do it. So that is our bow. I'll sit back down for a minute, and then I'm going to teach you our power breathing in a minute. We generally we start our class with the bow and then go into a body scan. Our body scans last anywhere from 2 to 5 to 7, depending on the kids that we're working with and how new they are to a body scan. It really is just a calming, relaxing. We start at the top of the head and work through all the muscles in your body and just getting them to calm down. It gets them focused for class, but it also prepares them for the times that they are just in so much pain. We have a high population of sickle cell patients, and they really benefit from the body scan when they're in pain, and they can do this body scan on their own and start at the top of their head and just relax all of their muscles to be able to, shut down some of those pain responses in their body. From the body scan, then we go into just gentle stretching. Again, depending on who's in the class and who we're working with, we'll go into some maybe jumping jacks or something a little bit more active. But again, that depends on who's in the class and their energy levels for the day. But usually it's just some light stretching, and then we go into our martial arts movements. Again, it's generally punches and blocks, nothing super crazy, but the kids all think it's great because they are doing martial arts and they're real movements. They learn an up block and a down block, and they're the different kinds of punches. And from there, then we also, usually after a bit of movement, we'll take a break and make sure all the kids have time to rest for a few minutes, get water. We always want to make sure that once we've moved, let's let them rest for a few minutes. But during that time is one of my favorite times, because we have what we call mat chats. And I am notorious for letting the mat chats go on too long, because the kids just love it and they have fun, and I like to talk to them. So I always have to rein myself in, as you could probably tell that I talk sometimes too much. But the mat chats is where we usually have a question of the day. And so they get to talk about their favorite things. And, often this is times that maybe we'll talk about when they used their power breathing last, or when they were able to use a body scan. So it's often during these times that some different stories will come out, not just their favorite things, but about how their body scans helped them in the past, how they couldn't get to sleep the night before. So they did a body scan all by themselves, and how powerful that made them feel. And, how they were in the hospital getting pokes today, and they were able to use their power breathing. And so those are my favorite times to hear stories of how powerful they are, and how they get excited that they were able to do it, and their nurse watched and asked about it. And you can see their countenance change as they talk about it, because it was something they were able to control. That's one thing that we focus on reminding them, that when they are sick and they're going through treatments, they don't have a lot of control on when the doctors poke and when they have to go in for tests. but that is one thing they can control, is calming themselves down and being peaceful, and then sharing that with others. And we talk about their light, so they get to share their light with others around them. And so to see when they talk about that, their countenance changing, that's like I said, my favorite part is they impact me more than anything. After the mat chats, we go into power breathing. I'm going to teach you a power breathing in a minute. You get to be in class for a few minutes. After the power breathing, then if we have time, we'll either do some more, it depends on how long the mat chats take sometimes, on whether we will play a game. Usually it's a martial arts game. Sometimes it's a scavenger hunt. I have a class that I teach with little kids in the UK, and their favorite game, I don't know how it started, but it's guess the emoji. And so they give me 3 hints on what emoji they're thinking of, and I have to figure out what it is. It's their favorite game. So we make it fun for the last few minutes of class, whatever they like to, we have a game of some sort usually. All right, I'm gonna teach, I already taught the bow, but we're gonna do it again. I would love interaction. If you're up for it, it's up to you. But if you want to pretend like you're a kid in class, then feel free to unmute. It's a small group anyway, so I can ask questions. We'll talk about the light and the darkness, and I'm just gonna kind of treat it like I'm teaching you as kids in my class, if that's good with everybody. That's my favorite way to introduce our power breathing. So first we're gonna do our bow again. We'll do it seated this time around because we're going to have a chat in a minute. So everybody sit at attention and bow. Power, peace, purpose. All right. Awesome job. So power breathing. When we do our power breathing, what we focus on is breathing in the light and blowing out the darkness. Does anybody want to give me an idea of what they think the light might be? Again, I'm going to teach this as if I was teaching it to kids in a class. Feel free to respond as you would like, and if you don't want to, that's okay. Anybody got ideas of the light?
Being kind.
Yes, being kind is a good one. Anybody else or any other ideas, Victoria?
I'm thinking positive energy.
Yes, positive energy. Yeah.
Excitement that kids are returning to camp this weekend.
Yes, that is a great light. Yes. All right, now think of those things that you talked about, the light. Think of the emotions. Some of them were emotions, but what are the emotions behind that you feel inside? That's the light. Side note, often when we talk about the light, we'll get a response that the kids' light is pizza. Not quite what we're looking for, but that's when we like to go a little deeper and say, okay, well, when you have pizza, does it make you feel happy? What do you feel inside? And so that's when we can transition that to the emotions. So, the excitement, the positive energy, the kindness and being kind, all of those things and all of the emotions that you feel, those are the things that we want to keep inside. Because those are all the good things. So that's the light, all the happy stuff, the good stuff. What do you think the darkness would be? Anybody want to share?
Pain.
Pain, yes. Pain is a big one. Anything else?
Stress.
Yes. Yes.
Missing my loved ones.
Yes. Yes. And the emotions that come with missing your loved ones. It's a lot of emotions. So all of those things are the darkness. And it's not bad to feel those things. Those are normal things that everybody is going to feel at some point in their life. The anger, pain, sadness, missing loved ones. Those are all normal emotions that you're going to feel. But we want to acknowledge that they're there and then blow out the darkness and replace that with the light, because that's what we want to focus on. So from there, how we do our power breathing. You can stand or sit, whatever you're comfortable with. It works both ways. I'm going to take you through the full thing standing, so you can choose whatever you want to do. But we stand nice and relaxed with our knees bent and our feet about shoulder width apart. And our bodies are just nice and relaxed. So our shoulders are forward, our head is down, and we're just, I usually have kids do a little wiggle to relax a little bit. And so you're nice and loose. And then from there, we clap our hands together and rub your hands together. And your hands are going to get warm, and that is your power. That's your energy. You can go ahead and share it with others around you. You are powerful, and feel that power and energy. From there, once you find that energy and power, your hands are going to go at your waist. And again, your shoulders are forward, your head is forward. You're going to close your eyes. Don't close your eyes yet. Watch me the first time, then you can close your eyes. And we're going to take a deep breath in and breathe in the light. And as you breathe in that light, let that light fill up your body with all that light, all that good stuff. And when you think you're all full of light, you take a little bit more and hold it for 2, 3, and then you blow out the darkness. And as you blow out the darkness, you let your body relax. And when you think you're all empty, you blow a little bit more. All right, so now you can watch me again do it. You can watch me doing it again if you want, but otherwise go ahead and close your eyes, and we're going to do it three times back to back. Breathe in the light, take that deep breath in, and then a little bit more. And blow out the darkness. And a little more. And breathe in the light. And blow out the darkness. Last one, breathe in the light. And blow out the darkness. And you can open your eyes. Good job. And from there, we're going to stand at attention or sit at attention and bow one more time. Power, peace, purpose. Good job. Well done. So there's your mini class for the day.
One of the kind of cool things that happens when Leah's talking about those classes and their mat chats, and it might be that the martial artist will ask, did anybody use your power breathing this week? Especially if it's a repeat, a class, or does anyone know what they would use their power breathing for, that kind of a thing. So someone might say, oh, I had to get a poke and I used it and then blah, blah, blah. And then someone else said, oh, I had to get that too. Or I had to get an MRI. Oh yeah, I had to do that too. So there's a lot of very organic facilitated support that goes on through that the kids are then able to learn from one another and talk to one another. So that's really, as Leah was talking, she loves the mat chat. That is just to sit back and watch that is incredible. Often the martial artists will tell us that, they'll come back with stories, and we pull our martial artists together every other week from everywhere, from across the world. Actually, every other Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, we all come on screen, whether it be from the US, Canada, Israel, Italy, South Africa, and talk through the different scenarios. And what's so cool is to hear that happens everywhere, no matter where they're at, no matter what it is. It's a very much of a experience that everybody goes through as martial artists. Mm-hmm. Does he have questions? It starts, the question is, what age do we send superpower kids to? There's no set age. Our program goes from 3. As a martial arts program, we like to start at around 3. That's where we've seen the best engagement starting, and we have a program for 3 to 6-year-olds that's specific. We have specific developmentally based adaptations to our program that we use. But I would say any age. I think it's most geared towards that school age group. It is probably where the key target is, but we've sent out surveys to the superpower kits are free because of a grant that we have. But as part of that, we send out an evaluation that helps us know how to revise. And even though you look at it and you'd say, oh, this is great, like that school age group, we have teenagers that love it. We have all ages that love it. So it's kind of knowing your kids and knowing what you think they would relate to is more than anything. Any other questions? The other thing with the superpower kits that has come up in the past is we do have camps that have a lot of kids, and it may be that and they might be bulky to send, especially if you're doing camp in a box and things. So we have been able to just send the activity book. So that's an option. And then with some camps, we've even done activity packets. Like if they've done an activity packet, we've added some of those pages to that activity packet. So there's lots of variations of opportunities of ways to use it. And there's a video component as well.
The pages will have some of the pages have links to see those videos and to access, like the body scan. Here's a link to, find a body scan. If you don't know what that is, you can do one.
The other part about ages, often the camps that we work with will separate by age, but sometimes they don't, and that's okay too. So multi-age groups are fine. Our martial artists are used to that. Wide ranges of ages and wide ranges of abilities in classes. And the kids that are with us throughout the year, they are actually skilling up and learning. This is true martial arts techniques, katas. They earn belts. They advance in belts and such as well.
When they register with our program, they get a full gi or uniform. We can't send those out to all campers, unfortunately. But once they register with us, we do send out, they get their gi, they get a t-shirt, and then they can advance through the belts. I know Michigan's got some pretty high up belts right now.
We do. Yeah. And that's kind of, and you say that, Leah, we've had kids that have stayed with us for a long time. We have a young man who graduated from high school last year. He happened to have had sickle cell, and he started with us when he was 5, and now he's just now completing his first year of college. So, and with longevity, the kids there's no time limit. I think that is something. There are some organizations that there are a certain amount of years that they're able to work with families, and we don't have a time limit. Families can stay with us as long as they feel it's helpful for them. And kids that have been with us for a long time, it often serves as like a leadership development type of a program for them. Sure, absolutely, Victoria. I will put my email here. And then I'm also going to put.
Gonna say if you're not putting mine, I'll put mine in there.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
yeah,
you can put yours, right? The programs will go to both of us. Yeah. So that will go to both of us, and then we do have a digital brochure that we're able to send to you. Or we could send it to Ryan and Jennifer, and they could send it to you. If they have all your contact information, or like Victoria, if you reach out to us, we'll send you the information. Anything that you would need. Yeah, okay. Programs will go to both me and Leah.
Yeah. Yes.
And we are still available for this summer, if that is. I mean, we're scheduling, and Leah's Tetrising all the schedules together, but we are still available.
July is still pretty decent on certain. Yeah, we got spots in July. August is busy.
And full disclosure, can we say we're working with you, Athena, since we're working with you this summer? So I guess I should have said it before I asked you. I shouldn't have said it before I asked you.
That's okay. Hopefully, I mean, we're discussing it still, but I'd like to. I think you guys are really cool. I used to teach yoga, so I really like your philosophy of, meeting kids where they're at and,
Mhm.
just working with them. And it's not about competition, and it's not about getting, what's the word? Like, it's not about achievement in the sense of like, we're always, as a culture and a society, trying to achieve. This is very, focused in a different way. And I think that that's really, really cool. And I love that you guys have the training on working with kids with illnesses. So I think you guys are awesome.
I'm going to put our website on here, Victoria, if this is helpful to you. There are some different stories and testimonials. Now I say that our website is, we're literally going through a rebranding. Like, it could go live tomorrow. It's possible. But if it does, Kids Kicking Cancer will switch over to herocircle.org. So I'm going to give you the Kids Kicking Cancer email.
It'll
don't, yeah, it'll redirect. So just don't, it's correct if that's what happens. It's kind of hard when you're literally going through it as you talk with people and such. But the reason we're going through rebranding to Hero Circle is, as Leah said, we are founded with kids with cancer. However, very quickly we grew to work with children with all different illnesses: sickle cell, hemophilia, organ transplant, GI issues, chronic pain syndromes, all across the board. And so because of that, in more recent years, we've been working towards how can we really reflect that. And finally this year, we are rebranding to the Hero Circle. So will we have a new name? The Hero Circle will be, you may hear us more being referred to as the Hero Circle, powered by Kids Kicking Cancer. Kids Kicking Cancer will not go 100% away, but you will hear the Hero Circle more, and you'll see in our logo, it says Power, Peace, Purpose, Kids Kicking Cancer, but the Hero Circle will be bigger. So that is that, but all the same, we're not any different. Same group,
everything.
same everything, just a little bit of a different, reflects a little bit more of the expansion of our programming. But our original programming was with oncology, and it was founded that way. Our founder had a child that, as many organizations are founded in this type of a way. He had a child who died of leukemia right after her second birthday. And so that, and actually, if I had thought about it, we could have shown the video, but I can send it to you, Ryan, that to share with them if that would be helpful. It's a little bit of the history of the program. He happened to be a black belt martial artist. He also happened to be a clergy. He happened to be a rabbi. There's no religious components of our organization, but he happened to be a rabbi, and he happened to be running a Camp Simcha, on the East Coast for children with cancer. And he found during an interaction with a child the power of using martial arts in helping that child to relax and calm himself prior to having support access. And that was really what started the organization. He realized, wow, this is something. He did a meditation with that child. He really talked about the power of martial arts. And in the meantime, the child had his port access, and afterwards he said, "Did you do it yet?" And the nurse had already completed it. So that was kind of the beginning. And then he started really doing more work into looking into those techniques and how they could be used. Went back home to Michigan, to Children's Hospital of Michigan, and started that pilot program. And that was back in 1999. So grew from there.
Any other questions?
I actually have a question. I mean, I know we've talked many times, but do you generally, when you're teaching your own sessions, teach by age range or skill level? And what do you do if you have a bunch of kids in the same age range but that are different skill levels? I'm just curious what that looks like.
That is a good question, and one that comes up fairly often. What it is our belting to start is all participation based. So they might, participate in some classes, but they learn the skills, but we are able to adapt those skills to the different levels. Cindy, if you have other ideas to throw into the two.
Kind of a disguise. There's a lot of
Yeah.
disguised repetition. So even if someone is brand new and starting, they're still able to learn the techniques alongside someone else who's not brand new, but is maybe learning them and just doing them in different ways. So it doesn't get boring for the child who's been around for a while, and it's still able to be learned for the child who's new. And then they're able to meld that together. They're really good. I am not a martial artist. When I tell you, I feel like they're gold. They're so good. But I'm not a martial artist. It's them. They're really good.
I started answering that question and I
They're
was like,
really good.
sometimes I just do it. And I'm just like, maybe Cindy can put it in
Yeah.
words because I was not coming up with them.
Yeah, they really do. It's incredible to watch it. But it's that disguised repetition so that the kids really feel like even the ones who've been around, they're still feeling excited about what they're doing. But the kids that are new are still learning. And even throughout the year, we have rolling admissions. Our typical classes anyone can start at any time, and there's no exact amount of classes someone has to go to. We know kids are in treatment for illness, so they're not going to be able to come all the time. But we're here as in all the time. We're that stable foundation, and they're able to come in as they want. So as far as the different ages go and different skill levels, that's how they also will adapt, and that we talked about before. There tends to be a couple martial artists per class, so they're able to focus differently. So if you have a 4-year-old in class, it might be that the martial artist is right in front of that 4-year-old, really helping to model, whereas another instructor is teaching the more general class kind of a thing. We do have what we call our little heroes for 3 to 6-year-olds, that we do have a dedicated class for them that have, like, as I mentioned, have different developmental skill level. The interventions are developmentally adapted to that skill level and that age range. We've started doing more teen programming also, but I got to tell you, the bulk of our classes are mixed. So they're really good. And the other thing is, if anyone ever wants to watch a class, feel free, let us know, Leah or myself know. We welcome you to sit in on a class. It would be virtual unless we happen to have a class in your area, but it would be virtual.
And there's lots to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah. We teach virtually 7 days a week somewhere. All different time zones. Anything, and if you have anything else, our emails are in there, or Ryan or Jennifer have our emails that they could share with you also.
Well, if nobody has any last questions, Leah, Cindy, thank you so much for that incredible presentation. We really appreciate it, and we'll make sure everybody has access to all your resources that you shared with us, and we'll put those on Outside the Box as well. So thank you so much for being here. We all appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you,
Thanks,
Leah.
guys.